The automotive industry is brutal right now. Electric vehicles are reshaping everything we thought we knew about cars, supply chains are still recovering from global chaos, and consumer tastes are shifting faster than a McLaren on the Nürburgring. While some brands are thriving in this new landscape, others are fighting for their very survival. Today, we're counting down 7 car brands that might not make it to 2026. These aren't wild predictions. We're talking about real companies with real problems that could spell the end of some legendary nameplates. Let's dive in. Number 7. Infiniti. Remember when Infiniti burst onto the scene in 1989, challenging BMW and Mercedes with the legendary Q45? Those were the days when Infiniti meant something. Luxury with performance, wrapped in distinctive Japanese engineering. The G35 and G37 were absolute weapons that could hang with the best from Germany. But here's the harsh reality. Infiniti has lost its way, and we're watching a slow-motion collapse. The numbers tell a devastating story. Infiniti's US sales plummeted from over 153,000 units in 2017 to just 46,000 in 2023. That's a 70% drop in 6 years. While Lexus continues to dominate the luxury space and Genesis is gaining serious ground, Infiniti is becoming invisible. Their current lineup reads like a greatest hits album from 2015. The QX50, QX60 and QX80 are competent but forgettable in a market where competent gets you killed. The real problem? Infiniti never figured out electrification. While Mercedes has the EQS, BMW has the i10, and even Genesis has the compelling GV60, Infiniti's electric strategy is virtually non-existent. The QX inspiration concept from 2019 looked promising, but here we are in 2025 with nothing to show for it. Meanwhile, Tesla continues eating luxury market share, and Chinese brands like Polestar are offering premium electric experiences that make Infiniti's gas-powered lineup feel ancient. Nissan, Infiniti's parent company, is struggling with its own massive financial issues and alliance drama with Renault. When your parent company is fighting for survival, the luxury division becomes expendable. Carlos Ghosn's arrest and the subsequent corporate chaos left Infiniti without clear direction or adequate investment. The brand that once promised to challenge the Germans now feels like an afterthought in Nissan's portfolio. Number 6. Mitsubishi. Mitsubishi's automotive story is one of the most dramatic rises and falls in industry history. This is the company that gave us the legendary Lancer Evolution, a rally-bred rocket that could embarrass supercars on a twisty road. The 3000 GT was a technological tour de force that competed with the NSX and Supra. But those glory days feel like ancient history now, and Mitsubishi's current situation is frankly depressing. Let's talk numbers that'll make you wince. Mitsubishi sold just 87,000 vehicles in the US in 2023, down from over 345,000 in 2002. That's not a decline. That's automotive hospice care. Their current lineup consists of the aging Outlander, the budget Mirage that feels like it was designed in 2005, and the Eclipse Cross that somehow managed to ruin one of the most beloved nameplates in automotive history. When your best-selling vehicle is the Outlander, a competent but utterly forgettable crossover, you know you're in trouble. The EV transition is exposing Mitsubishi's fundamental weakness. They simply don't have the resources to compete. While Hyundai has the Ioniq 5 and 6, Kia has the EV6, Mitsubishi's electric strategy seems to consist of hoping people forget they exist. The Outlander PHEV is decent, but it's not nearly enough to save a brand that's lost its identity completely. Here's what really hurts. Mitsubishi actually pioneered mass-market EVs with the i-MiEV back in 2009. They should have been Tesla before Tesla existed. The Nissan-Renault Alliance acquisition in 2016 was supposed to provide stability and resources, but it feels more like a slow liquidation than a rescue. The performance heritage that made Mitsubishi special is gone. No more Evos, no more Eclipse sports cars, no more Gallant VR4. Now they're just another appliance manufacturer in a market that doesn't need another appliance manufacturer. Number 5. Jaguar. This one hurts to talk about because Jaguar represents everything beautiful about automotive design and engineering. The E-Type is still considered one of the most gorgeous cars ever built. The XK120, XJ220 F-Type. These are machines that stir the soul. But beauty alone can't save a brand that's hemorrhaging money and losing relevance in a rapidly changing market. Jaguar's sales numbers are absolutely brutal. In 2023, they sold just 7,200 vehicles in the US, down from over 38,000 in 2017. That's not a brand, that's a rounding error. While BMW sold over 380,000 vehicles and Mercedes moved over 350,000 units, Jaguar barely registered as a blip. The current lineup tells the story. The XE is gone, the XF is essentially a zombie product, and the F-Type is heading to automotive heaven. Only the F-Pace keeps Jaguar alive, and crossovers aren't exactly what the brand built its reputation on. The transition to electric is Jaguar's last chance, but it's also potentially their death sentence. They've announced they're going fully electric by 2025, which sounds bold until you realize they're doing it without a coherent strategy or competitive products. The I-Pace was supposed to be their Tesla Model X fighter, but it arrived late, with limited range, and software that felt 5 years behind the competition. Meanwhile, BMW has the i10, Mercedes has multiple EQS variants, and even Genesis has compelling electric luxury cars. But patience has limits. They've pumped billions into the brand with little to show for it. The partnership with Land Rover helps, but even that's not enough to justify keeping a luxury brand that sells fewer cars annually than some dealerships move in a month. When your parent company could probably make more money just licensing the Jaguar name for cologne and watches, you know you're in trouble. Here's the most painful part. Jaguar still builds beautiful cars. The F-Type sounds like automotive thunder, and when it looks good, it looks absolutely stunning. But beauty doesn't pay the bills when you're competing against brands that offer better technology, superior reliability, and more attractive pricing. Tesla Model S buyers aren't choosing based on exhaust note. They want cutting-edge tech and performance, things Jaguar struggles to deliver. Number 4. Acura. Acura's decline is particularly painful because we remember when Honda's luxury division actually mattered. The original NSX redefined what a supercar could be: daily drivable, reliable, and capable of embarrassing Ferrari on the track. The Integra Type R was a front-wheel drive masterpiece that's still coveted by enthusiasts today. The Legend and RL offered genuine luxury with Honda reliability. But somewhere along the way, Acura lost its soul, and now it's fighting for relevance in a luxury market that's moved far beyond what the brand offers. Acura peaked at over 209,000 units in 2005 and has been sliding ever since, hitting just 102,000 vehicles in 2023. While Lexus maintains strong sales and Genesis is growing rapidly, Acura feels like the luxury brand nobody asked for. Their current lineup is a case study in missed opportunities. The TLX is competent but forgettable, the RDX is decent but faces fierce competition, and the MDX is reliable but lacks the prestige buyers expect from a luxury brand. The real problem is identity crisis. Acura doesn't know if it wants to be sporty, luxurious, or just premium Honda. The precision-crafted performance slogan sounds focus-grouped to death, and their diamond pentagon grille is universally mocked by automotive journalists. Meanwhile, Genesis offers real luxury with stunning design, Lexus continues dominating reliability rankings, and BMW and Mercedes define performance luxury. Where exactly does Acura fit? The NSX revival should have been Acura's moment to reclaim performance credibility, but it flopped spectacularly. Despite advanced hybrid technology and impressive performance, it felt disconnected from the brand's heritage and cost nearly $200,000 in a market where buyers could get a more emotional experience from competitors. The fact that they're discontinuing it again speaks volumes about Acura's inability to execute on their performance promises. Honda's global strategy might be Acura's death sentence. As Honda focuses on electrification and autonomous technology, maintaining a separate luxury brand becomes harder to justify. The resources required to develop competitive luxury vehicles, especially electric ones, are enormous, and Honda might decide those resources are better spent on their core brand. When your luxury division sells fewer cars than your parent company sells Civics in a quarter, the math becomes simple. Number 3. Lincoln. Lincoln's story should be a cautionary tale about how quickly a legendary brand can fall from grace. This is the company that built cars for presidents, that defined American luxury for generations. The Continental, Town Car, and Mark series were rolling symbols of success and sophistication. But today's Lincoln feels like a desperate attempt to recapture relevance in a luxury market that's moved far beyond what the brand can deliver. The numbers are stark and unforgiving. Lincoln sold just 83,000 vehicles in the US in 2023, down from over 160,000 in 2000. While Cadillac struggles but maintains around 130,000 annual sales, Lincoln has become an afterthought in American luxury. The real problem is that Lincoln never figured out how to compete with German luxury. While BMW offers driving excitement, Mercedes provides cutting-edge technology, and Audi delivers quattro capability, Lincoln's value proposition seems to be nicer than Ford. That's not luxury positioning, that's premium trim-level thinking. The Continental's return was supposed to signal Lincoln's renaissance, but it felt more like automotive nostalgia than genuine innovation. Ford's financial pressures make Lincoln's future even more uncertain. As Ford burns billions developing electric vehicles and autonomous technology, maintaining a luxury division that sells fewer vehicles than some single Ford models becomes harder to justify. The Mustang Mach-E's success actually works against Lincoln. Why develop a separate luxury EV brand when Ford can command premium prices for exciting electric vehicles? The electrification transition could be Lincoln's final chapter. While Genesis develops the compelling GV60, BMW launches the i10, and even Ford creates the Lightning, Lincoln's electric strategy feels half-hearted. When your parent company can build a $100,000 Lightning Platinum that feels more premium than your luxury brand's offerings, you have a fundamental identity problem. Here's what makes this particularly sad. Lincoln still builds quietly competent vehicles. The Navigator is genuinely impressive, and the Aviator offers real luxury features. But competent isn't enough when you're fighting brands with stronger heritage, better technology, and clearer positioning. In a market where luxury buyers expect their vehicles to make statements about their success and taste, Lincoln whispers when it should roar. Number 2. Chrysler. Talking about Chrysler's current state is genuinely heartbreaking for those of us who remember when the brand meant innovation and American ingenuity. This is the company that invented the minivan, that built the 300C, a rear-wheel drive sedan that looked like a Bentley and performed like a muscle car. Chrysler gave us the Prowler, the Crossfire, and vehicles that dared to be different. Today, Chrysler exists as a 3-vehicle lineup that feels more like a going-out-of-business sale than a legitimate automotive brand. Let's confront the brutal reality. Chrysler sold just 134,000 vehicles in 2023, and that number is artificially inflated by fleet sales. Take away rental car companies and corporate buyers, and retail sales are embarrassingly low. The brand currently offers exactly 3 vehicles: the aging 300 sedan that's being discontinued, the Pacifica minivan that competes in a shrinking segment, and the Voyager that's essentially a cheaper Pacifica. That's not a lineup. That's the automotive equivalent of a fire sale. The minivan market that Chrysler created is dying, killed by crossovers that offer similar utility with better image. The Pacifica is genuinely excellent, probably the best minivan ever built, but minivans now represent less than 3% of the total market. Building your entire brand around a dying segment is like opening a blockbuster in 2025. Meanwhile, the 300's discontinuation removes the only vehicle that gave Chrysler any performance credibility or emotional appeal. While Jeep gets new electric models and Ram develops the impressive 1500 REV, Chrysler gets promises of electric vehicles that may or may not materialize. When your parent company has Alfa Romeo, Maserati, and Peugeot to worry about, a declining American brand becomes expendable. The electrification transition could be Chrysler's salvation or final nail in the coffin. They've promised electric vehicles by 2028, but that timeline seems optimistic for a brand that's struggled to maintain relevance with conventional powertrains. Tesla Model Y buyers aren't going to suddenly discover Chrysler because they offer an electric crossover. Without compelling products, advanced technology, or clear brand positioning, electric vehicles won't solve Chrysler's fundamental problems. Here's the most painful part. The automotive world needs what Chrysler used to represent. We need brands willing to take risks, to build vehicles that dare to be different, to offer American alternatives to German efficiency and Japanese reliability. The original 300C proved American companies could build desirable luxury performance cars. The Pacifica shows Chrysler can still engineer excellent vehicles when they try. Number 1. Fiat. Our number 1 spot goes to Fiat, a brand whose American adventure might be nearing its end after a run that can only be described as a spectacular failure to launch. When Fiat returned to the US market in 2011, there was genuine excitement about Italian style and European engineering coming back to American shores. The 500 was charming, distinctive, and offered something different in a market full of anonymous appliances. But charm doesn't pay the bills, and Fiat's American sales numbers read like a masterclass in how to waste a brand comeback. The sales figures are absolutely devastating. Fiat sold just 1,400 vehicles in the US in 2023. Read that again, 1,400 vehicles for an entire year. That's fewer cars than some individual dealerships sell in a month. At their peak in 2014, Fiat managed 46,000 sales, which was already disappointing. It's automotive obliteration. The brand has become so irrelevant that most Americans forget it still exists. The 500 was genuinely appealing but suffered from reliability issues and limited practicality. The 500L was an awkward attempt to make the 500 family-friendly that pleased nobody. The 500X crossover arrived late to a crowded party and offered nothing compelling compared to established competitors. When your entire brand strategy depends on variations of a single retro design, you're setting yourself up for failure. Reliability problems killed any momentum Fiat might have built. While Toyota and Honda built reputations on bulletproof dependability, in a market where buyers expect their vehicles to work flawlessly for 200,000 miles, Fiat's Italian approach to reliability was automotive suicide. The dealer network collapse sealed Fiat's fate. As sales plummeted, dealers dropped the franchise or relegated Fiat to a corner of their showrooms. Finding Fiat service became nearly impossible in many markets, creating a death spiral where poor support drove away remaining customers. When people can't easily buy or service your vehicles, your brand becomes effectively extinct, regardless of product quality. Stellantis's priorities make Fiat's American future even bleaker. Plus global brands like Alfa Romeo and Maserati competing for resources, Fiat feels like an expensive distraction. Then trying to maintain an automotive presence that nobody wants. The car world is changing fast, and it's tough for some brands to keep up. These 7 brands are having big problems. Some lost who they are, some didn't change with the times, and some don't have enough money. Their past success won't save them. What do you think? Did we miss a brand that's in trouble? Tell us in the comments, subscribe for more, and remember, if you don't move forward, you fall behind. See you next time.